Okay, so I want to take a minute to show you how to use this handy tool, Google Forms, and how we'll use it or can use it for the Renaissance program cardholder application. So from your email, when you clicked on that link, it should take you to this. And fear not, as you look at this, and it looks like a pretty boring page, it is only the edit mode. So we're in edit questions over here. What the students will see looks a little bit different, and I'll show you that in a minute. So essentially what I did is I just copied the top of the application and put it right here. We can certainly change that. In fact, all of you have access to change that. And just make sure you're on edit questions here at the top, and you can change any of that. So you can see we follow the questions in order on the from the paper copy of the Renaissance application, and you can see that for these grade level things, I just did pull downs. I don't know if we want to add freshmen here. I'm not remembering if they're eligible. And then we also have a pull down for t-shirt size. Feel free to add or subtract sizes from there depending on what you are offering. And you'll notice that these all have little stars next to them, and that means they're required questions. So a student cannot submit this unless all of these fields are completed. Okay, other things is this form requires the following things. It requires them to be on their Ontario Christian Schools Google login, and that's so we can automatically collect their username. Although we may not want to have those checked. And I'm going to uncheck those, and that's because parents may want to sign their students in. And if this is checked, parents would not be able to do that unless they're signed into their student's account. This is just, it shows a progress bar when they're actually filling out the form. And then this allows a person to only sign up once. I can imagine some students would forget and try to sign up a few times, and this will only allow one login. So here's a few other things. I'm just going to move left to right on the top here. Here's where I changed the theme. So this is close to what the application will look like for students. Kim, this is especially for you. If you would want to play around with any of the settings, you would just click right here on Customize. And you can click on any of these, and you can play around with the font type and color. If you just want to leave it the way it is, that is completely fine as well. So this is where you would change the appearance of the form. One thing I might suggest is it may look nice to add in an image if we have one for Renaissance. That we could either snap a picture of some artwork from a student from last year, or if we have some kind of a logo, we could use that too, and that would go here in header image, and I would be happy to work on that if you have such an image. All right, continuing to move left to right here, this is an important one. View responses, I'm actually going to skip that and come back to it in a minute, because first I want to show you what the live form looks like. So when we give the link to students, which is different than the one I sent you, they will go to this. So you can see it looks very much like it did when we were changing the theme and editing the theme. So I'm just going to fill it out once to show you what this will look like when one finishes it. So I'll fill it out for myself. And I'll just put myself as a senior. And I'll be a large. And let's say I have Mrs. Swanson for my first period teacher. Then I'm going to click submit, and I'll get this message. So we can change this as well. This is what I have right now just as a place to start. We can easily edit that if we go back over to this tab, and we go over to edit questions, and down at the bottom we have the ability here to change the message on the confirmation page, which only comes up after a person clicks submit on the live form. So it would change what it says right here. All right, I'm just going to get rid of that for right now because we've already filled it out. So the last thing I want to show you is what it's going to look like when a student finishes the response. I'm going to click on View Responses, and it will take me to a Google spreadsheet that gives a timestamp. So I just filled that out. And here are the things that I filled out. So, Mrs. Gallagher, as you go through and you check their application, what you could do, and this is what I would suggest, is you can highlight that row right there, and then the paint bucket here, you can change that either to a green, and green to me would be, it's a go, that person is good, or maybe you want to have your other color be red. I think that would be a really easy way to indicate whether that person is eligible or not. So again, if there's any questions, let me know. Feel free to edit the form as necessary, and I hope that at least gives us a good start.